My sister-in-law went bananas on me because I refused to thank her for babysitting her own kids, and now she's forcing my brother to have low contact with me for being ungrateful. Posted by you/relevant_artichoke24. My 22F brother, 35M, surprised me 6 months ago by planning a trip to Scotland for my birthday. He knew I had never traveled before and wanted to take me to my dream country. Due to tight finances, it was just the two of us, which I was okay with since, at the time, he and I were close. For context, my brother is married and has 2 kids under 6. His wife, 34F, said she was happy for me and didn't mind holding down the fort for a week while we were on the trip. She and I have never been close and, quite frankly, just tolerate each other for the sake of keeping the peace. She's never been a fan of how close my siblings and I are with each other. I think it all comes down to growing up in different family dynamics. Anyway, the trip was amazing, and I loved every second of it. I was on such a high when we came back that I thanked my brother so many times for doing this for me until he told me to shut up, lol. I thought everything was good, and we resumed our lives normally. Imagine my surprise when, 3 days after coming back, I received a text from my sister-in-law telling me off and calling me rude and ungrateful because I didn't send her a text thanking her for babysitting on her own and having to do everything around the house for a whole week while I had fun with her husband. Yup, that's exactly how she worded it. I was flabbergasted. This is the same woman who smiled and told me to have fun on my trip, and now she's berating me for not thanking her for doing me a favor by taking care of her kids for a week. Am I crazy, or is that totally irrational and just weird? I told her I'm not sure taking care of your own children counts as babysitting or doing someone else a favor, and she blew up at me, calling me a terrible, ungrateful brat and saying that I never show appreciation for anything. I was so confused by all of this and called my brother, but he doubled down and told me the trip wouldn't have been possible if she hadn't volunteered to take care of their kids so we could have fun. He said I should be thanking her for doing it for me. I was, and still am, confused as to why I need to thank a mother for taking care of her own kids. Anyway, to keep the peace, I told her thanks for doing it, but she decided I wasn't being sincere and convinced my brother to go low contact with me. My siblings and my mom were confused by all of this but keep telling me to just bite my tongue and not stir the pot any further. However, I'm just hurt and confused. My relationship with my brother has been strained since, and it's taking a toll on me. I just need outside opinions because I'm genuinely confused about whether or not I'm the jerk in this whole mess. Edit. I can't reply to everyone, so let me clarify a few things I feel I should have included. They do not share finances. She has never spent any money on anything related to me. Also, last year, she took a trip abroad with her siblings, and no, I don't know if her siblings thanked my brother for watching their kids. Finances were tight in the sense that my brother was paying out of his own pocket and wouldn't have been able to take anyone else with us. Plus, this trip was a birthday gift, not a family trip, so no one expected to join. I did thank them both when I was first told about the trip, and I asked my brother if he was sure it was okay for us to go. He assured me we were set and that I only needed to have fun. I later learned that she didn't contribute anything to the trip and said she wouldn't have wanted to take a trip with me anyway. Hope this clears some things up. Update 5 days later. Thank you to everyone for the insight on my previous post. The post kind of blew up in a way I wasn't expecting, and the responses were overwhelming, but I now understand that I did not react correctly to her texts. This is a long update since a lot has happened. To clear up a few things before I continue with the update. A lot of you are fixated on the fact that I said finances are tight. I didn't mean their overall finances. They have separate finances, and from my understanding, they only share expenses when it comes to their household and kids. Anything else they pay for from their own pockets and don't interfere with each other's spending as long as the kids are taken care of and the household is running smoothly. Since my brother was paying for this trip on his own, he couldn't take many people with him, as that would put a bigger financial burden on his personal savings. They're doing fine financially, they take family trips once a year. I did thank them both when I was initially told about the trip. However, my sister-in-law later made a snide comment about how this was all my brother's doing and that she didn't contribute to the trip at all. Last year, my sister-in-law and her siblings went on their own trip while my brother took care of everything, and he was fine with it. My family dynamic is apparently confusing some of you, but we're 5 siblings who are very close, hang out regularly, and have a close bond with our mom, especially since our dad passed away. We are from an Asian country, and the culture here, as well as the bonds between families, are different from those in the West. To those who suggested that maybe she's salty because I'm getting a trip when I've never helped them out, I babysat my sister-in-law's babies 5 days a week for months each time her maternity leave ended. Each time they stopped needing my help, only my brother thanked me, and that's fine with me. My sister-in-law has never thanked me or my siblings for anything we do for them. She says the fact that we're so eager and willing to drop everything to take care of each other is weird and unhealthy. I did thank her once I realized I should just keep the peace and tell her what she wanted to hear. Still, she didn't accept my thank you after I made the babysitting your own kids comment. I understand now that I was a jerk for saying that, as many of you have pointed out that it was rude and that I'm not a mother and don't fully understand the situation. However, to be fair, her texts were full of insults. She kept doubling down on the fact that she was stuck babysitting because of me. Many of you ask why I wasn't offered the ticket and why I didn't go on my own. In our culture, women, especially young ones, don't travel alone without either a family member or their husbands. It's not about control but rather protection for us, so going on my own wouldn't have been an option. Now, onto what happened. So, I talked with my mom to better understand the situation, since many of you said I'm not a mother and don't get it, and she said my sister-in-law worded it wrong, but maybe she just wanted gratitude for helping my brother out because being a parent isn't easy. I understand that I reacted to her messages poorly when I could have just said a simple thank you, but neither my mom nor I understand why she was so aggressive towards me in her texts. The aggression is what made me become so defensive. I found out from my siblings and my mom that my brother only paid for the tickets and accommodations, while my eldest brother provided the pocket money for food and shopping during the trip. My siblings also chipped in but didn't want credit since my brother wanted this trip to be like a thank you to me for all the help I've given them with their kids over the years. He had even cleared it with his wife, and she had given him the go-ahead. My mom also told me that my brother had asked my sister-in-law if she wanted to come with us on the trip and leave their kids with my mom, who was fine with that, but she declined, as she and I aren't close and it would have been awkward for both of us. My mom said that my brother actually asked her to check in with my sister-in-law every day to make sure everything was okay and to see if she needed anything. He also asked my sister-in-law's sisters to check on her as well. It turns out my sister-in-law had taken the week off work. I didn't know that, and for 4 out of the 7 days we were in Scotland, she dropped her kids off at my mom's. On the other 3 days, when my mom called, my sister-in-law said she had her sisters with her and didn't need any help. So what the hell was she so mad about? It's clear to me that she wasn't abandoned by my brother, as some of you suggested. My siblings initially wanted to just keep the peace, but after I showed them my sister-in-law's texts, they were surprised and appalled by her words. They had thought this whole thing was a simple misunderstanding, but now they realize it has become bigger and that my brother and I aren't talking. My sister decided to investigate and called my brother to understand what happened. It turns out my sister-in-law told him that my mom and siblings didn't check on her at all, which is a lie. My sister even dropped off food for them twice, and that the kids were upset their dad left them, throwing tantrums constantly, which is probably not true. She also claimed this wasn't what they had agreed on when he first told her about the trip months ago. My brother was too busy trying to calm her down to confirm with the family whether or not it was true. My sister then asked him if he had seen the text his wife had sent me, and he said he hadn't. My sister-in-law told him that she had simply asked me for a thank you for all her hard work and that I blew up at her, saying she didn't deserve anything since she didn't pay for the trip and that she was entitled. He said he was hesitant to believe that, as he knows I'd never outright disrespect someone like that, even if we don't get along, but she insisted it happened and claimed she had no reason to lie. As her husband, she said she needed his support, not his questioning, which is why he sent me the text telling me to thank her. My sister then told my brother everything that had happened and, more like demanded, that they apologize to me. I didn't think it was necessary, I just wanted my brother to talk to me again. He sounded upset and told her he'd figure it out after talking to his wife. The talk did not go well. My sister-in-law and my brother had a massive fight. He demanded to know why she lied and caused so much drama, and she broke down, admitting that he was too close to me and my siblings. She confessed that she hated how the whole family babied me, I'm the youngest, and that our close sibling relationships made her uncomfortable. She just wanted him to put some distance between himself and us because her family isn't as close, and they kept telling her that our dynamic was weird and toxic. He told her that her behavior was unacceptable and that she had caused a rift not only between him and me but also between him and the rest of his siblings, who are now mad at him. My brother called me and apologized for doubling down on what his wife said. He explained that things were already tense at home, and he was just trying to keep the peace and be supportive, but he admitted that he shouldn't have treated me that way when, deep down, he knew I wasn't at fault. He also informed me that, for the time being, my sister-in-law will go no contact with my siblings and me while they attend marriage counseling and she goes to therapy because her behavior wasn't normal. He sounded exhausted and defeated, and I just told him that we're all here for him if he needs us. He assured me that the no contact applies only to my sister-in-law and that he won't limit his contact with me, apologizing for doing so without even talking to me first. I asked him if he'd like me to reach out to her, apologize for what I said, and sincerely thank her, but he said no. He explained that it was never about gratitude in the first place and that it's a bigger issue between them that they need to figure out on their own. He advised that we shouldn't contact my sister-in-law unless she reaches out first, as she doesn't want any contact with us. He also apologized for her language in the text, but I told him not to worry about it. It's safe to say that my sister-in-law's relationship with us is never going to be the same again after this. To be honest, I was never her biggest fan, but I was always civil and polite to her because my brother loves her, and we had never had any issues before. I do feel really guilty that all of this happened because of the trip planned for me, but my siblings keep telling me it's not my fault. My mom says I should have just thanked my sister-in-law and kept the peace instead of letting it blow up like this. However, my siblings told her that even if I had apologized, it wouldn't have mattered because my sister-in-law would have found something else to cause a problem. They also pointed out, as many of you mentioned in the comments, that saying thank you would have been the polite thing to do and that taking care of kids full-time is not the same as babysitting them for a few hours. It would have been good to acknowledge her efforts. They understand that I don't fully grasp what it means to be a parent, and that being verbally attacked wouldn't have made me respond with kindness. I get it, I was ignorant about it, and I acknowledge that. There are a lot more details, but that's the gist of it. My brother and my sister-in-law's marriage is strained right now, and so is his relationship with us. I just hope everything works out okay because I really love my brother and hate seeing him so defeated. Part of me wishes we had never gone on that trip because all this drama is draining. To clarify something, the only reason I question the whole "I babysat my kids as a favor to you" is because I always see people criticizing fathers who say that and calling them out, arguing that kids are a parent's responsibility and not a chore or a favor for anyone. I thought this applied to both mothers and fathers, but perhaps I was mistaken. My only point of reference on this topic is what I see on the internet, as I'm not a mom. Since many of you have said I'm the jerk and that she deserved a thank you and a gift, I realize I messed up the thank you part. However, I did buy her a magnet for their fridge since she likes to collect them. I went a little crazy and brought back souvenirs for myself and everyone else as well. It would have been weird and rude to give her kids gifts and not her, so I got every single family member a small Scottish-themed present. I was excited about being in Scotland, lol. Thank you all for your insights and advice, I really appreciate it whether you thought I was or wasn't the jerk. All your opinions put things into perspective for me. Some comments were outright nasty, though, and I didn't think name-calling was productive or necessary, but oh well, that's the internet.